Hi, this is Food All You Never Wanted to Know, and today we're going to learn how to make whole grain pumpkin pancakes. And here I have the recipe. So if you want to write this down, now you can use whatever wheat you have. You don't have to use mine, but these are really, really good. 1 cup hard white wheat flour. This is because you do need some gluten in this or your pancakes will fall apart. If you're gluten intolerant, you can replace it with whatever flours that you need to use. So 1 cup of hard whole wheat flour, 1/4 cup of oat flour, 1/4 cup of barley flour. Now these are all whole grain, so this is super nutritious, high fiber, but it doesn't taste like nasty high fiber that you're used to, that we used to have anyway. 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon cloves, 1/4 teaspoon ginger. And these, as you see, I'm going to whisk them together separately from the wet ingredients, which are 2 eggs, 3 tablespoons oil, 3/4 cup pumpkin puree or winter squash puree. And in this case, we're going to be using the pink banana squash puree that we have left, 1 1/4 plus 1/8 cup milk. And you should add more as needed, 1 tablespoon at a time. Now 1/8 cup of milk is 2 tablespoons, okay? So we'll get going here. So I've already measured out. This is the whole wheat, hard red wheat flour. This is the barley flour, and again, that's whole grain. And I ground those in our grinder. This is the oat flour that I ground up in the little spice mill. Then I missed the salt. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Okay, this time I'm going to be using the real salt. And as you can see, it looks dirty. It looks like there's specks in there. That's not dirty, that's not specks, that's the minerals, that's the natural stuff that they get out of the ground. So anyway, so salt, 1/2 teaspoon salt. Okay, I'm gonna put the 1/2 teaspoon salt in with the spices. And as you can see, we have cinnamon in the middle. We have cloves on this side, the little cloves, and the light stuff, the yellowy looking stuff, is the ginger, or is it vice versa? Whichever it is, these are the spices. I'm gonna add the salt to that. I'll show you why. Whenever I put spices and salt in a dish, in something, I always put it through a very fine meshed sieve. And the reason for that is I hate biting into a clump of something, and as you can see, they're little clumps of spices that I guess we live in an environment that has a little bit of humidity to it. So I whisk this together. And again, I whisk really well because I hate a bite of salt. I just cannot stand that. And we actually, with our peanut butter, we use unsalted, creamy peanut butter. And we didn't used to, but once we got used to it, the peanut butter with salt is just atrocious. It's so awful to me. So anyway, I do use salt in my baking. I just don't like it to be in my mouth in a big bite. So anyway, so mix the dry ingredients really well. Then we come over here and in a smaller bowl, and again, this makes about 10 decent sized pancakes. Oh, and I forgot something. This is so important. And I'll put that through the sieve too. A whole tablespoon of baking powder. And I use the kind that's GMO free, verified, okay? So anyway, I'm gonna put this through the sieve too. Thank you, helper. So I need to whisk that in too. You'd have pretty fat pancakes without the baking powder. Oh my goodness, that would be awful. Okay, give it another quick whisk. And then we start with the wet ingredients. So 2 eggs. And 3 tablespoons of oil. And I always talk to myself when I'm doing this to make sure I don't make a mistake. 2, 3. Alrighty. Then we put, this is the milk. And here's that wonderful pink banana squash that we pureed up. All right, so we take the whisk from there. I always do the dry ingredients first for obvious reasons. Although I have several whisks. I don't think a household can make do with just one whisk. So anyway, make sure the eggs are incorporated really, really well, and the oil, you want it to be mixed really well. Now the amount of milk that you use, I said that you can add a tablespoon at a time extra. A lot depends on your flour, the humidity in the air, and it also depends on how thick your puree runs. You could actually use butternut squash if you didn't have pumpkin, or a pink banana squash, which pink banana squash is the best, right? There are also other good squashes. Long neck pumpkins are good. Sugar pie pumpkins are okay. They're not as smooth as some of these others. Okay, so I'm gonna pour that in there. And I might whisk it a little, but I usually go to a spoon pretty quickly because it sticks. We've taken this, we've taken our regular recipe, which is very similar to this, for regular pancakes without the pumpkin. We have taken that recipe camping, and when I do that, I do put powdered milk in the recipe, so then we just have to add water, and sometimes we even used powdered eggs. Now you have to figure out, and it might take one pancake to figure it out properly. It takes a minute or two for all the moisture to get sopped up by your grains, by your flour, and you may or may not need to use more milk. So we shall see. Okay, you don't want to stir it too much. I might be killing it there. Okay, so we're going to move over to the stove, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so we're over at our little grill here. As you can see, this is a ceramic pancake grill. It's non-stick, but as you see, it's been kind of burned over the years. So that's not dirty. That's just the way it has been. So anyway, so you can either use a 1/4 cup or a 1/3 cup measurement when you do this. So, and I think this is the right thickness. I did add an extra tablespoon of milk, and we'll see as we put it on. It might be okay. I usually spread it a little bit because it's the center that you need to be sure it gets cooked. Are we going to be able to do this? So I wouldn't use bigger than a 1/4 cup. Okay, now I set the temperature of this at 300 degrees. I don't like pancakes that are burnt. We'll see how we do with these. And I usually put 6 on this griddle. It's a griddle, not a grill. I call it a grill. So anyway, and we're going to pause a minute and turn them. Okay, so you see they're cooking nicely. As you see the bubbles, as they open up and they don't close, that's when it's just about ready to turn. The edges should start drying out a little bit. And we'll see how this one is. We'll see if it will turn for us. 1, 2, 3, turn. Okay, that one turned. It's a little close to this. This is going to be a challenge. Now, I don't like, ooh, that one's a challenge, more of a challenge.
I would wait on the others.
I made them a little bit too big. And as you see, if you don't like them that thick, you can add a little bit more milk. Just don't add too much at once, or you'll find yourself having to put more flour in and playing back and forth and back and forth. This one is looking ready, don't you think? Okay. Oh, get off the pan. Oh, that one's getting a little too dark. Okay. I don't like mine that dark. I like them like that, but this is fine. This will do, because we're pretty hungry. Anyway, peek and see what's happening under this first one. It's almost ready. See how it bounces back so nicely? Oh my goodness, these are going to be good. Okay, so I'm going to take this one off. You think this is ready? No? I don't want it to get too brown. Okay.
These are the...
We're going to see. We're going to take this one off and put it over here. Looks nice to me. We cut into it. Is it ready? I don't know, but it looks good. Is it ready to you? Looks pretty good. It's not wet. Anyhow, our taste tester is taste testing. Is it good? He's saying it's good, and he doesn't like pumpkin pancakes. So anyway, be sure to try these, and if you like them, share them with your friends. And remember to subscribe. Take care.